afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show tonight. Alrighty, well, sorry about that, folks. Had the intro going, and yeah, got pulled on to the side here. So tonight we kick off here race number 13 of the Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series. Tonight, the drivers will take on Chicagoland Speedway for 140 laps, 75% fuel in these race cars, 3 sets of tires over the wall, and of course, like any good race weekend, we kick it off with some qualifying. We will see who will walk away with the BG Graphics Pole Award here tonight from race number 13. And with us jumping in mid-season here with this Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series, we have a lot of storylines to follow because it gets very close to the playoffs here. It is 2 weeks after tonight, so 3 weeks including tonight, till these guys start their playoffs and hope for that Riptide Radio Championship. We'll keep an eye here on the left side of our screen, see who we have on quick time right now. We're looking at the 47 machine of Joseph Grivgala. Grivgala here, lap number 1, a 31.91. Right now, quickest car at the moment is the 44 machine of John Ross. John Ross here coming into tonight, having some success. He has put it in victory lane the last 2 races. Both of them were kind of intermediate style tracks. Ooh, the 47 machine gets a piece of the wall there off at turn number 4. This lap will not count, so he will coast it back on in. We also have, looks like, the 31 machine here of Christian Delgado, excuse me, here. So Christian, lap number 1 in the books. The 31 machine will, maybe that was the outlap. My mistake, folks. That was outlap for the 31 machine. So first time on the clock here as we're looking at the 31 machine down the backstretch. But yeah, a lot going into tonight. Like I said, the 44 John Ross, last 2 weeks winner. So we'll have to see if anyone can dethrone the 44 machine, who can get on a hot streak before these playoffs start at Chicagoland Speedway, especially with these next gen cars. Super fun to race at. We'll see multi-lane racing. This track walk and work itself all the way up to this outside wall, so it is gonna be good. As right now, pole time, if it stays this way, will be the 62 machine of Frank. Looks like Frank Zingen on the pole here, as looks like Christian there will complete the lap. Only going to be good enough for 14 quick. So it looks like we have 17 cars showing up here tonight. 17 cars at least have taken a lap, but we have to shout out our pole sitter here tonight and give him the BG Graphics Pole Award. That is, of course, Frank Ziegen in the 62 machine. So we see him up on screen there. That is our pole sitter here tonight. We'll be leading the field to the green flag. As we get ready for the windy 140 from the Chicagoland Speedway, and we will get ready to rock and roll here in just 1 minute before we start off our tonight starting grid. But with a little bit of time, we'll take a look at some race information here As you can see, the egg-shaped track of Chicagoland Speedway. We got some high speeds, some high wear in these tires. It's going to be a good time, of course. This is the 802 iRacing League Riptide Radio Next Gen Series. We got to, of course, thank all the sponsors that make it happen. Those being the following: BG Graphics, Out of the Woods Crafts, Riptide Radio, DTL Custom Graphcs, and Leaf Guard. So be sure to check any of those sponsors out of any of your needs as we get ready here to head over to race time. And like we mentioned before, distance tonight, 140 laps. It's going to be a good one. We'll get some strategy when it's all said and done. But let's head now trackside to go through tonight's starting order. Picking up the BG Graphics Pole Award, the 62 machine of Frank Ziegen will lead us to green. To his outside will be the 94 machine of Christopher Pendel. Row number 2, starting on the inside, will be the 6 machine of Johnny Barker. And to his outside, trying to make it 3 in a row, it will be the number 4 Skull machine of John Ross. Starting in P number 5 will be the 13 of Jason Wiley. To his outside will be the 51 of Dalton Powell. Row number 7 is the 4 machine of Brandon Guerin. And to his outside, starting P number 8, is Nick Larson in the 82. Then comes the 43 machine of Leroy Kobleneltz. Rolling off P number 9, and then rounding out the top 10 will be the 16 machine of Steve Ryder. Then we go outside the top 10 here tonight. And that 47 machine, he already checked into the YouTube chat lands. That is Joseph Grivala. He will roll off P number 11, and rolling off P number 12 will be the 52 machine of Dave Farella. Then 13th will be Nate Coleta, and to his outside will be Christian DeGallo. Then 15th will be Arabia Caton. Eli Raposa will roll off 16th, and starting shotgun on the field will be Rob Lowe in the 21 machine. So that will do it here for our starting order as we get ready to head for the green flag here at the Chicagoland Speedway. The iRacing Mustang will make the hard left-hand turn down pit road, and then the 62 machine will lead the field to the green flag here tonight. Pace car makes its way on the hard left-hander, and Frank Ziegen on the loud pedal going through the sequential gearbox. We are green flag racing here for the Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series. The field will dive down here into turn number 1, 2x2 in the front row and throughout the field behind. As it looks like Pendel trying to get a run. He gets a piece of the wall off of turn number 2. That now evasive maneuvers, but John Ross right on the back bumper of that 62 machine. As the field will now drive through 3 and 4. Pendel falling back just a little bit, having to take that longer line around the speedway. But it may become the preferred line before it's all said and done here tonight. Lap number 1 now in the books. Lap number 2 looking to go complete here as we got a little bit side-by-side action further on back around the 5th position, maybe just behind that. As we try and sort themselves out here for the most part, as now John Ross says, forget sorting each other out. I'm trying to go to the front. Ross trying to lead the lap. He will lead lap number 2 as he tries to make a move on that Chevy Camaro 62 machine of Frank Ziegen. Ziegen. As further on back, here comes some names here. Jason Wiley making up a ton of ground in that 13 Wrangler machine. He is up to P number 3. I think Jason here says it's going to be go time from the start. It looks like one car further on back, maybe Nick Larson. Further behind than that, it looks like actually Nate Colita. Sorry, in front of him. Dave in the 52 machine. The Napa 52 getting a piece of the wall there off of turn number 4. But yeah, one car that says it is go time is this 13 machine of Jason Wiley. Currently has the best lap out of anyone. Definitely pushing his Wrangler Chevy Camaro here early. We'll see if this pays on off, or we'll see him fade on back if we do in fact get a long run to start this race. I was informed talking with race control and procedures here tonight. 3 sets of tires over the wall, so drivers gonna have to keep that in mind. It is not unlimited tires, so drivers definitely keeping that in the strategy. I believe we will see 2 pit stops if I'm not mistaken. We'll see. We will have to double check our math here, but the quick math inside my head, we will see 2 pit stops here tonight, as currently now our only lead change of the night so far. John Ross out in front and looking to keep that way is now Zingen under fire from Wiley, so we'll see if Zingen can hold off the charge from Jason Wiley. And further on back, here comes the 51 machine of Dalton Powell. Now maybe sniffing the back of Pendle. I have to see how this works on out. As just closing the door, the 94 Pepsi machine just able to close it before that backstretch, but Powell already searching one of the highest cars on the Speedway that is still quote unquote running single file. We still got some double file further in the back here. Looks like Rob Lowe, one of the cars on the move here tonight. He is up 6 spots from where he started in this number 21 GStone machine. That thing's looking pretty sporty. You may have to keep an eye on Rob. Actually, I think you guys should be able to see some standings. So now you should be able to see where your favorite driver is on the left side of the screen, as you see top 5 looking like the following. You have Ross, Zingen, Wiley, Powell, and Pendle. But here further in the back, we got some nice side-by-side racing action as the 5 car almost gets into the side of the 31. These guys racing pretty good here, but I think it's heating on up here towards the front. As look at Dalton Powell trying to take away second. He was just in 5th, I want to say 2 laps ago. Now has already raced his way up into 2nd, so we can see how quickly people can make a move on each other as the top 5 own little pack, but we'll have to see how long that lasts. As looks like Leroy in the 43 machine, he's trying to join this pack. He's about a second off of there, but this 43 machine, he's shown some pretty good pace the last couple laps. He's just trying to sniff a little bit of that draft if he can. Has about half a second to sniff it, so he's got to make up that bit of time as we now complete double-digit laps here tonight already. 11 laps in the books already of the 140. And so far, John Ross taking a familiar spot from the last couple of weeks. He has a clean windshield looking out the front. Dalton Powell in the 51 machine here. He runs in 2nd. Let's ride on board with the 51 machine and see what's making him pretty quick here tonight. As you can see, the best time for this 51 machine, a 31.62. Last time by was a 31.86, whereas the leader just ran at 31.98 last time. So Powell definitely faster than Ross. The question is, can he get around him? It looks like Ross making Powell try and go around the high side the long way around the Speedway. We'll take a listen here. See Powell working the throttle and wheel. So thank you very much, Dalton Powell, showing us a lap around the Speedway here tonight. As you can see, his times though falling on off quickly, running the top, now dropping all the way down to a 32.18. So maybe we gotta start wondering, did he use up some of those tires? As it looks like our leader starting to walk away. John Ross starting to gap a little bit more between now first and second. As it looks like most people sorted on out. We got a little bit further back to just outside the top 10 here. As we jump on board with Nate Cottilla trying to work around Brandon Guerin and Christian Delgado. So right here we see Delgado down low, Larson up top. This is the battle for 9th on the Speedway here. As right behind we see the 5 of Coletta already jumping all the way below the apron and on the tri-oval. So you can in fact go down there. It just, in my opinion, at least here on iRacing, definitely wears your tires out a little bit quicker if you instead stay on the track. And of course the other big thing, you jump out of the draft. I mean, this 2-mile speedway of Chicagoland Speedway, all about the draft here, and I don't know if it's really worth it, let's say, especially if it's a long run, which it looks like we are driving ourselves into here early tonight. Head back up to the top 5 here as Jason Wiley trying to sniff to the inside of the 94 machine. Let's ride on board with the 94, looking on back to our 5th place runner, Jason Wiley. See how close these guys get to each other. As you can see, Wiley being stuck a little bit lower, having to wait that split second to get on the gas off turn 4 there last time by, and just couldn't carry the same speed down that tri-oval and into turn number 1 as the 94 could, even with the draft. But now that Wiley has kind of backed on off, stuck right to the back bumper of the 94 machine who we're riding on board with. Now he has definitely got some speed, but as you can see behind him, he has some company. Leroy Koblenetz and Johnny Barker have entered into the backside of this top 5, so it's about to get a lot of fun here. As we see the battle down the backstretch here. The 43 machine to the outside of the 13, now the 6 to the inside, 3 wide for just a second, as we are now 20 laps in the book of our 140, only a 7th of the way done. As it looks like they will fly by Jason Wiley. So Wiley, even though kind of pressuring the 94 for that spot, has lost a ton of time to those guys around him. As our 2nd place driver, I believe Dalton Powell, getting a piece of the wall there off of turn number 4. So we'll have to see how his race car is feeling after getting a little bit of damages. I tell you what, it is no bueno in a hurry if you do get any sort of damage, especially at a track like this where aero in the draft is so important. You will very quickly start dropping like a rock throughout this field, no matter if you decide to push or save those tires. Still battling through this track here as Brandon Guerin trying to sniff to the inside of Nick Larson. Both Larson and Guerin kind of moving in the wrong direction from where they started early in this race. You gotta wonder though, did they do the conservative and it may be the better strategy as this run continues of saving some tires, not pushing it at the start, and then gonna plan to turn it on up here probably in the next handful of laps, for sure in the next 10 laps. So we'll have to see if that was a strategy, or maybe just didn't get the setup right under the car, hoping to make some changes and improve as this race goes on by. We'll try and catch a word from maybe the crew chief of the Ford machine at some point here tonight. "24 laps here in the books. John Ross out in front here tonight. This Skull number 44 machine. We're going to try and see what is making this 44 so quick here tonight. As I say, let's jump on board with him. Try and get a just get the sights of the sound, see where he's going, see where he's lifting, as it looks like John Ross to the inside, nice and smooth. And man, he is running some great laps. He's at least a 10th quicker than the next quickest guy pretty much each and every lap. So and it's always pretty interesting riding on board with these guys or whatnot, especially once they get in clean air or whatnot. It's like, man, it seems like these guys just on a Sunday drive nice and smooth, but it really is just backing it down, running your race, letting the car come to you, and overall having a game plan and sticking to it. And it looks like John Ross doing a great job at that. As contact here into the wall, both goes the 6 and the 43. Everyone making evasive maneuvers, but it looks like they will keep on racing, as we might need to get a as we just say that, we jump on board with the 6 machine of Johnny Barker going on around, and we get our first yellow flag of the night here tonight. Here on lap 27, we will have to wait and see what did happen, but that kind of started all the way off of turn number 4 and then continued all the way down the front stretch into turn number 1. We'll have to see what happens. Looks like, the 31 machine trying to give the 6 of Barker some room, moves on down just a little bit too much and puts the 82 into the wall, and some big time contact for the 82 as he goes nose first. Luckily, Barker in there to cushion the impact, but that is a tough break for those 4 cars involved, that being the 82, the 6, and it looks like the number 5 machine, all involved here tonight in the yellow flag and the first yellow flag of the night here. But now we will see our race leaders head down pit road, and we'll keep an eye here on the end of pit lane and see who wins the race off of pit road. Of course, John Ross in the 44 machine leading them down on pit road. And it looks like here tonight, filling it up with the virtual Sunoco race fuel and putting 4 fresh Goodyear tires on these cars. And it looks like Ross not winning the race off of pit road. Looks like we have some strategy out here tonight. Jason Wiley, Brandon Guerin going on the offensive, taking right sides only. So the 13 and the 4 will be the front row on right side only. John Ross, first car on for Frank Zingen, up into, back into 4th on 4 fresh tires, and rounding out the top 5 on the restart. Dalton Powell in 5th. And this guy, I got to give a shout out to Rob Lowe, up into P number 6, up 11 spots here by the time of caution number 1. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. as we complete lap number 30 under our first caution flag of the night, with contact between the 31, 81, and the 82 and the 6. Looks like a few cars trapped a lap down here. We'll get the wave around with 1 to go. That is the 30 machine. Looks like the 82 and the 52 as, oh yeah, it's already 1 to go as Jason Wiley getting ready to lead the field to green. As about a lap and a half till we take the green flag. Alrighty, folks, this time by, we will get the 1 to go signal and try and go green flag racing. First restart of the night. As, of course, leading the field to green will be the Wrangler Chevy Camaro, that being piloted by Jason Wiley. And to the outside, we have the Ford Mustang number 4 machine of Brandon Guerin. So both these drivers on 2 tires, row number 2 on 4 tires. So we will have to see how this shakes on out. And we already clicked off quite a bit of laps, 31 in the book. That only leaves us about 110 left here tonight. Alrighty, the iRacing Mustang makes the hard left-hand turn, and Jason Wiley jumping on the loud pedal here. We go back to green flag racing action. Right now, Wiley having some help. John Ross almost pushing that number 13 machine here into turn number 1. Looks like Wiley will get clear. Maybe not, as now Guerin has a big run down the backstretch. Wiley maybe got a little bit loose. That opens up the door for 3 wide racing here into turn number 1. Rob Lowe on the loud pedal here, using up those 4 fresh tires. He says he wants the race lead off at turn number 4. The 21 machine, new race leader here, as Brandon Guerin trying to hang on with those 2 tires. Now it's Zingen in the 62 machine will drive down to the inside. He will clear the 4 off at turn number 2. Here comes John Ross trying to do the same move. Drivers getting up to song here. Guerin on the wrong direction. Slide back with those tires. Same with the 13 machine of Jason Wiley, but maybe if they get lucky, they could kind of cycle into some strategy. Maybe if we get a yellow here in about the next 20 laps or so. What they really don't want is a very, very long run and get trapped a lap down or on a kind of alternate strategy than the rest of the field, especially with only about 17 cars here tonight. Out in front, the GStone Ford Mustang of Rob Lowe leads the way over our pole sitter. That 62 machine looking to get back to the lead here, or maybe the guy that was leading before that yellow flag a few laps ago. John Ross now on the move. He's to the inside of the 62 here as they drive through 3 and 4. 44 machine down low, 62 up top off at turn number 4. The 44 machine will slide right in front of Frank there. And now look to the inside of Rob. Side by side for the race lead is John Ross trying to go back to familiar territory. That is, of course, a clean and open front windshield, as it looks like Zagan in the 62 machine will slide into second. Joseph Grigala in the 47 machine up into fourth. And then Christian Delgado up into fifth. He's right in this pack. So once again, interesting observation here. The top 5 pack once again has broken away from the rest of the field. Then after them, the kind of a 4-car pack. And then the rest of the field kind of running on together. A few cars way far back. One of them being the 2-tire taker, Jason Wiley. Dalton Powell maybe with some damage. But that 51 machine definitely way down on speed compared to that first run. So we look at the 40 machine here. Joseph Grigala piloting the 47 machine, having some sponsors, some BKA Border Karting Association, some iRacing accomplishment, 10 plus years on the sim, making him one of the many veteran drivers you can find in this field, and some in real life accomplishment, a one-time BKA karting champion. So pretty cool stuff from Frost, Joseph Grigala. So now with this lap at the end of completion, we go into double-digit laps remaining at the moment here. 100 laps to go, 40 laps in the books here tonight, as John Ross once again out in front here early at the Chicagoland Speedway. He is trying to make it a run for the ages before these playoffs. He's trying to make 3 wins in a row this season alone. So John Ross having a lot of speed coming into here tonight. Having a lot of speed here in the early parts of tonight. Can he keep it up? As it looks like top 4 kind of driving on away, as Rob Lowe losing a little bit of speed. Maybe using up those tires a little bit too early to drive to the front there. But we'll have to see how it turns out for that 21 strategy here tonight, as the 6 machine Johnny Barker got a new car. He's back out here running pretty strong once again. The longer it goes into the run, the more speed we see out of like the 6, the 43, those kind of cars. Looks like the 94 Christopher Pendel kind of slide in the wrong direction. Run number 1, he's trying the opposite strategy. He's looking to try and pick up some pace here compared to the front runners as this run continues to go on. As we see these two catching the back bumper here of the 21 machine of Rob Lowe. We will have to see how it shakes on out. As it looks like getting dropped on out just a little bit. We're going to see, looks like maybe some issues there as we get a yellow flag on the speedway. We're going to try and see what happened here, as it looks like the 94 machine involved here. The 4 gets it rolling. Johnny Barker once again involved. Looks like Barker getting that car rolling, but missing the nose. So we're going to try and see what happened here to bring out our second yellow flag of the night, as we see the 94 and the 6 machine this once again involved in another yellows. Oh man, that is a tough one. And oh, big time contact, just clipping the 43 machine. Oh, a 52 will come on in. And does everyone kind of save it up here for the most part? It looks like yes, as the 52 will make hard contact to the outside wall. And man, a tough break for these two. I got to rewatch this back, maybe try and get a different camera angle, but it looked like to me they just kind of both moved, got together with net code. You can see the cars move before they actually touch, and once that net code's happened, it's game over from there. So a tough break, as I don't know if Johnny Barker has any more fast repairs to continue the race here tonight, so we'll keep an eye on that. But second yellow flag here, second round of pit stops, as we see some drivers, it looks like mostly just coming in, topping off with fuel. So if you pulled some strategy, maybe first pit stop, just took some fuel and saved a tire set till now, you're going to be sitting in a great spot. But who decided to take that gamble? I don't think really anyone did. This time, though, only about, I want to say 15 laps on these set of tires. So we'll probably see most people not try and come down and take some fresh tires. As we come closer to tonight's halfway stage here, second yellow flag of the night was with contact between the 94 car we're looking at here and the 6, as we see both the 94 and the 30 jump on down pit road here. And this time, I believe we should see the 1 to go signal. Everyone's still on the lead lap here, still trying to chase down this guy, John Ross, who will be leading the field to green flag. He has been, I think so far, the car to beat. So we will have to see how this can shake on out for him, how he does going up through the gears here. I don't know how many race fans here tonight tuning on in to the Turn 3 Racing Network here have watched that Hotlanta quote-unquote super speedway race, but if you have not checked out that finish, I think you gotta go check it out. It's probably one of the most exciting finishes we've seen in a minute, and definitely of the next gen era racing in real life. So if you get a chance, check that on out. But here at the Chicagoland Speedway for race number 13 of the Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series, we get ready, go back racing here on lap 48 as John Ross leading the field to green. He goes into the Geico restart zone, jumps on the loud pedal, and gets away with a great start. We'll jump up to the top as we will see the field dive down into turn number 1. One car here flirting with the top 5, have not talked about yet tonight, is the Leaf Guard number 16 machine, driven by Steve Ritter. Ritter kind of hanging out right around the top 10 here tonight, but has quietly been making his way here more and more to the front. Right now up in the 6th, trying to battle the GStone 21 machine of Rob Lowe for that 5th position. As everyone here at the moment single filed on out. And with them single filed on out, I want to turn it over to some of the most requested parts of the stream here tonight. That is, of course, some turn 3, turn it up. Let the cars do the talking, and I'll do the walking. Alrighty, folks, we head back up to the top here and give us a little bit of a rundown. John Ross currently leads the way over the 47 machine of Grabala. Then Christian Delgado in the 31 machine runs third. Zingen in the 62, fourth, fifth being the 21 machine of Roblo. One car losing a lot of spots there in just one corner. The number 5 machine sliding on back a little bit there, so I have to see if anything's going on with that car. Maybe looks like running all right, so maybe just had a bad corner there. Most cars only taking fuel. A few cars though did take some tires, one of them being the number 4 machine of Brandon Guerin. He is up to P number 6 on some fresh Goodyear tires, so he's one of the ones rolling the dice here at Chicago, trying to find a different strategy to set him up nicely. So far, letting him race on in almost to the top 5 right now, knocking on the door of his. Oh, one car almost into the wall there off of turn number 2. That's a 62 machine. About kissed it, maybe even more, but able to keep it off the wall, I believe. As maybe not, as I thought I saw some damage on the right side of that car. We'll have to see by the time he gets into turn number 1 here. And yeah, I think he did get a piece of the wall, so now you got to wonder how much the speed is affected to that 62 machine. As we see already, Rob Lowe jumping at the opportunity to go on around. He might bring a handful of cars. Here comes Dalton Powell. Where did he come from? Was hanging out at the back last run, got that second yellow flag, is instantly turning it up here. As Dalton, another one of those drivers on fresh tires, so maybe Dalton did run that alternate strategy, did not take tires, stop number 1 and then stop number 2, making it happen. As still, I believe everyone still racing out here tonight. We had 17 cars start as that gets close off of turn number 2. Dalton and Christian door to door, the 51 and 31. And man, putting on a good show as Dalton Powell on the new tires. Got some strategy involved here tonight as Joseph Grigala took over the race lead to John Ross. Now under fire from Dalton Powell as Powell continues to roll the top here tonight. And it looks like at the start finish line, the 47 will just have it, but I don't think for long, as Dalton Powell to the front with the alternate strategy. New race leader, Dalton leading the way now. Now the next car on fresh tires is this 13 machine of Jason Wiley, so we will have to see what Wiley can do. Then Brandon Guerin also on new tires, but seems like he is thinking very big picture, as it seems like he is still saving those fresh tires that are on the car. And I know I might talk about, saving tires on the car. What does that mean? What does it look like? And all it really is, racing is such on the edge of your seat while you're in the car that saving some tires is very, very slight. You maybe lift 2 car lengths before you normally do. You apply a little bit more brake initially. You trail brake a little bit longer so your apex speed is a little bit lower. Ultimately, saving tire, you're just a little slower on purpose on the apex or just after the corner. And that's all it is for saving a little bit of tire. The balance beam act, just like everything in racing, is how long do you save for, how much do you save, because you don't want to spend all race saving your tires and run out of time if someone turns it up like Jason Powell, who has now 3/4 seconds of an advantage. you're going to have to turn up your car this much to even catch him. So it's all about a balancing act here tonight. But right now, it is a great race as multiple strategies developing here tonight as we approach the halfway point for race number 13 of the Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series for the 802 iRacing League. Also at the halfway point, I got to shout out, as we get close to it, I should say, got to shout out Premier Setups. They have some of the best setups when it comes to the dirt racing and oval racing with one-on-one coaching, road, oval, both paved and dirt. They have a lot of great setups and driver coaching. So if you want to find out more about them, be sure to head over to Premier Setup Shops with the link in the description here tonight. Also got to give a huge shout out to Track Cams for the great track shots that we see here tonight. As we continue to look at our race leader, but further on back, John Ross now leading this train of about, I want to say, 6 to 7 cars here as everyone's single filed on out, as Dalton Powell checking on out, now up to a 1.5 second advantage over these guys here. As here comes Brandon Guerin. We saw him saving these tires at the back of this pack, not doing anything crazy, now turning it up and slicing and dicing his way up to maybe up to second here in just a few short laps, as now he looks to the inside of the 47, and you can see the speed difference here as he will drive on away. Let's ride on board with a driver right behind him. This is Jason Wiley we're riding on board with as we watch them try and run down now John Ross of second place. Wiley nice and smooth, taking his time to get back into the throttle, but you see up in front a little bit of lap traffic as Dalton Powell will try and go on around, and right in front of us Brandon Guerin will get clear of the 44 of John Ross. Now we'll see what Wiley can do as Ross will get tight, have that front end walk up all the way to this red backstretch wall of Chicagoland, and you can see with that walking up, he had to just wait an extra millisecond to get in the throttle. But the even bigger pain for Ross is I bet that slide really heated up that right front and makes that handling of the race car go away even quicker as he continues to push that car more than the limits, more than the tires can handle. As actually that time off of turn number 2, it looked a lot freer, a lot easier to drive, as looks like they do in fact coming around to put the 30 machine another lap down here tonight. Now Wiley's got to be careful because as you see to the top side, Rob Lowe on the loud pedal here. So Rob trying to make up some ground. He only had pit stop time, I want to say, for just fuel. So Rob really taking care of those tires early in this run, now paying off as we approach the halfway point here tonight. I got to do a few other series with these guys or whatnot, really get to know quite a handful of guys, both in a truck series and a super late model series. And so, you know, I came in with a little bit of knowledge of these drivers. And one thing I always noticed, even, you know, the short track series of the super late models, this 21 machine, Rob Lowe, always good at saving tires when it comes to the long run. He loves to see next to no yellow flags if he can in a race, just because he can use to his advantage one of his best driving abilities, which is saving tire and being there at the end, as we see him now trying to work over the 44 machine of John Ross for that third position, as we see our race leader Dalton Powell down on pit road right at the cross flag. So at the cross flags leading the way will be Brandon Guerin, as we get some great battles right behind here. But that time by, we see the cross flags halfway down, halfway home in race number 13. Alrighty, I hear it from the spotters. John Ross pinned this time, everyone around him having to do evasive maneuvers. Ross down on the apron. Now, can he dance it down in there? You see no banking, trying to get it going, and oh man, Ross was fast down on pit road. Does he get busted for speeding? If he does, this race goes green to the end. That streak of race wins definitely over. So we will have to see, as it looks like the 21 Rob Lowell this time coming on down. Will our race leader Brandon Guerin come on down or stay on out? It looks like Guerin staying out another lap. We will see if the 21 can get down on pit road safely. It looks like yes, he does. Gets it woed up to pit road speed. So now with pit stop cycles going on, it looks like, yeah, John Ross, it looks like I have not seen any indication yet if he did get caught speeding or not. We continue to wait and see, as Brandon Guerin continues to lead the way over the field here tonight. He will continue to click down the laps as a race leader. Jason Wiley second, third Christian Delgado, fourth Frank Zingen, and fifth Steve Ritter, rounding out the top five here, as looks like Eli Raposa down on pit road for this scheduled stop, and still keeping their foot in it. So we got to wonder what tipped off drivers to go down that last handful of groups, and these guys running it out so much more, because as these guys continue to run, they lose time to those fast tires, because they are stuck running about 31.8s, whereas guys that just pitted, they're running like 33.1s, 33.4s, and the guys that just pitted are in the 32.0s. So they can only run for a handful of laps, because then it can flip. Then they can be on the new tires running faster laps. But you got to take into account there's only 140 laps here tonight. So you got to make sure that you have enough time to reel in whoever you are, in fact, racing for that position. Looks like we got Kenny Reel out there in the YouTube chat lands cheering on Piston Broke Motorsports. That is a bummer. You couldn't make it here tonight. So far, it has been a pretty good race and pretty exciting. We see a handful of different strategies here going on. Only 2 yellow flags here to make it on up. So far, I've thought it's been a pretty good race. As we jump on board, looking at some battles here. Johnny Barker, Nick Larson, ready to duke it on out here in probably the next lap or so. It looks like I don't think John Ross got busted for speeding, so I believe he will be probably leading the way over the pit stops, because it goes Ross, then Powell right on the back bumper of Zegen, who's up there still on old tires. Zegen into the wall a little bit. Powell maybe having to lift just that little bit. He can't quite go down, as this allows Ross to continue to go on by. Powell able to haul the mail around the top side. That is the difference in tires right there, as the 62 continues to stay out. Same with our race leader Brandon Guerin, but everyone else then behind trying to stretch out their fuel tank as long as possible because John Ross leads the way over the tires. He's about to unlap himself here over the race leader of Brandon Guerin. And once again here, folks, that's the difference in speed in these tires. As lap 80 in the book, Dalton Powell, second car in the pit road cycle. Then Joseph Carvalho, Rob Lowe, and Christian Delgado. So 80 laps already in the books here. 60 to go of our 140 to make up our 13th race of the season. Of course, they got 14, 15, and then 16 starts the playoffs. You won't want to miss that because that is going to be some fun racing to watch. Playoffs will include the top 8 in points and try and run it. The playoffs, of course, having some fun tracks as well. Some of the tracks we'll see: Darlington on March 17th, Talladega March 24th, March 31st, Watkins Glen, April 7th, North Wilkesboro, April 14th, the Nashville Super Speedway, April 24th, Michigan International Speedway, and then the championship decider at the either run in the bottom or rip in the fence, Kansas Motor Speedway. And we have a slow car on the backstretch there. I don't know if maybe someone coming off of pit road. I didn't think we saw anyone on pit road, or maybe I'm just seeing things and we're going crazy out here in the booth, but we did in fact, I believe, did have someone down on pit road. One car back down on pit road. Wow, a lot of damage to this car. That is the 97 machine of Christopher Pendle. Not sure what happened to him, but big time damages. We don't really have a replay on what happened, but wow. That car definitely destroyed in his race, coming over to an early end here. As we see Brandon Guerin, and then this driver out here, the 16 machine of Steve Ritter, trying to stretch the fuel till the end. This could be the strategy, especially if they could stretch it just long enough for a one stop. I mean, especially if they get it within the next, I want to say 2, for sure 5 laps. They could probably go to the end of this race and be the strategy as long as no yellow flag comes on out. You look a little bit further back, some strategy going on. Well, I should say some racing going on with the strategy. These guys still out on the old tires here and racing it up just a little bit. All of this group, all in this pack behind Ritter. And all of them racing for position from 3rd through 6th. So the 82 machine here tonight is being driven by Nick Larson. He's from Gladstone, Michigan. Sponsors, of course, you see on the hood and the side of that 82 machine is race driven. And he's out here having some fun, having himself a great run here at the moment. Now up into 4th as we see Steve Ritter down on pit road with the scheduled stop. So Nick Larson having himself a great race, and I'm sure the race driven boys and girls excited to see that. As it looks like Johnny Barker, no, not coming down pit road. I thought I heard someone call on out that they might be pinned, but so far looking good. So just to put it in perspective, Brandon Guerin last time by ran a 33.72, where John Ross, the first car on tires, is a whole second and a half faster, a 32.28. But because these guys will have to come down another time, same with the leaders, that puts Brandon Guerin in enough of an advantage with the distance they have to cover to hopefully set himself up for a win here tonight. We're gonna go jump up the track map here on the right side of the screen. So Brandon Guerin, our race leader in the 4, highlighted in the neon green, just going into turn number 3. Then we see John Ross just going into turn number 2, so half a track behind. But because he's that half track behind, when they all cycle through with the final stop of the race, it will be very hard to make up that much time. That's about 15 seconds of time at least between them. So we will keep the track map up on the side of your screen as the field, as you can tell, very spread out here tonight. As we head back a little bit further, a little bit of some battle in here. As, oh, that's interesting. I heard it up here in the booth. I'm sure you heard it at home. Jason Wiley in some big time fuel saving mode. He is shutting off the car and clutching it to save as much fuel to run the motor as little as possible here tonight. And so far doing a great job with it. So far has stretched it all the way to lap 91. But what he needs to do is for sure pit before that 44 car comes and chases down that back bumper of his. He has to pit before he gets passed by that 44, as we see a handful of cars down on pit road. Johnny Barker, Nick Larson, and Frank Ziegan. I would have to think in these next couple laps we will see our race leader Brandon Guerin come down on pit road and eventually hand over the race lead to John Ross, but Ross will have to make another pit stop before it's all said and done. So we will look to the race leader, see when he does in fact come down on pit road. This time, no siree. Jason Wiley, how much more can he save? He's down on the bottom. Looks like he is coming in this time by right when the 44 passes him. So it will be close when it all is said and done, how those two shake on out. As it looks like Wiley safely down on pit road. That leaves only one car left to hit pit road, and that's the Ford machine of Brandon Guerin, who we'll see this time by down on pit road on lap 95. So Guerin down on pit road about a quarter track ahead of John Ross, and Ross will take over the race lead. Won't lead lap 95 because that will go to Guerin on pit road, but lap 96 will be led by John Ross. Then we got to jump all the way back to the entry of turn 1 to pick up our second place runner, Dalton Powell, and then right behind him is Joseph Gurala in that 47 machine. So Ross picks up over the race lead, but I think deep down that team hoping they get a yellow flag right before they have to make their way into a green flag pit stop. As with the differing strategy, looks like Brandon Guerin going to be racing right out to the backstretch, right in front of our race leader to stay on the lead lap. Looks like he will do so, and he will definitely be able to keep the 44 car at bay with those new Goodyear tires. So everyone's spread on out for the most part, but we jump a little bit further back as contact to the outside wall. I think we see the 21 get a piece of it, but here from third, I want to say second on back, we got some good racing here through the field and a little bit of extra spice thrown on in as a few lap cars also trying to get some lap backs here before it's all said and done. As off of turn number 4, we see the 62 machine get a piece of the wall there a little bit, but overall, everyone kind of settling on back down now. No one really pushing the envelope here as they know they still got a little bit of time. Anything can happen because at the stripe, we will get 100 laps here clicked on off of our 140. So getting towards the end of this thing, but far from over as we see a lot of different strategy here tonight. As everyone up in the top 11 will have to come on down pit road and make one more stop for fuel. They won't have enough fuel. Everyone pitting around lap 70 to 75. The first car a little bit further though. Steve Ritter able to have a short stop. He made it to 86. I believe he should have enough for the distance. So Ritter might be the car to keep an eye on as he will go around the 5 for position. But the 5 having to pit another time here before we see the checkered flag. So John Ross, our race leader, seeing what that 44 Skull machine, like we mentioned pre-race here tonight, folks, trying to make it 3 in a row, the longest streak of anyone this season, but he may have to have some lady luck go to his side. As you see the 6th machine of Johnny Barker get one of his laps back there. He now finds himself only 1 lap down. It looks like the 62 machine of Zegan trying to get his 1 lap back. Ooh, will make a little bit of contact with the race leader. Shove the 44 up out of the bottom groove. So interesting there. That will move, if the 62 can get on by, that will move Jason Wiley, the first car 1 lap down, and the 13 machine. And let's go to the stands here at the Chicagoland Speedway and see what it's like to buy a seat here in the front grandstand and see these cars go around this very long and wide 2-mile speedway of Chicagoland Speedway, which, in my opinion, I think NASCAR should bring on back and go back to racing there. I think the next gen Cup cars would put on a great show there, but who am I? I'm just one person, I know, but that is my opinion. As we see John Ross down pit road here for the final time of the night. We see a couple more machines, the 47, 51, both down on pit road, trying to lose as little time to those fresh tires, that being driven by the 16 and the 4. As actually we see Ritter down on pit road here for the final time as well. So I believe only maybe Brandon Guerin has enough to make it to the end. So we see Guerin go on by in the front stretch here as John Ross continues to sit, now able to roll. So Ross will have about 25 lap newer tires than the floor machine. The issue is he has to make up a lot of time to Brandon Guerin. As Guerin at the start finish line, and then Ross all the way back in 3 and 4. Looks like most everyone else down on pit road, away safely, but with a little bit of strategy. The 31 machine of Christian Delgado able to pick up the race lead, pick up some points, leading some laps, and having the 31 track racer machine out in front here at the Chicagoland Speedway. We'll go see if we got any information about Christian here. We had some drivers, put up a little information about him, and we quite do. He is from Albion, Kansas, so I bet Christian here, very excited. Season finale is at the Kansas Speedway. He's hoping to make his way to there and have a chance to win a championship in front of some home crowd fans. That would be pretty cool to see. His sponsors, of course, we got Track Racer on the car, High Velocity TV, Bully Dog, Coffee Company, Steely's Auto Detailing, and the Beam Team. Some iRacing accomplishments for this 31 driver is an NIS winner or Lawn Care Truck Series champion, SSRL Daytona 500 championship, and he has some real life experience here, and some accomplishments is dirt racing various cars from big blocks to mod lights, tested an ARCA car at the Kansas Speedway. So he not only has some iRacing practice when it comes to the season championship at Kansas, but also some real life as, oh no, Christian Delgado missing pit road. As I kind of mentioned before, pit road very tricky here, very flat, and when you carry too much speed in there, and it only goes from bad to worse as he spins it on pit road. But as you can see, once you get off the banking of the track, the transition to the flat, you get way less grip in those front tires, and that being shown on display there. As we saw Delgado just try and force that envelope just a little bit too much, try and carry that speed just a little bit too much off of turn number 4 and onto the apron, and he had to pay the big price for that and have a very long spot. Delgado will probably fall outside the top 10, maybe outside the top 15, as maybe not. It looks like he will be rolling off of pit road, will probably just go a lap down, but able to probably unlap himself with the fresher tires. So now we go back to watching the 4 of Brandon Guerin. Does he have enough? Can he make it? Can he save enough fuel without giving up enough time? We will have to wait and see as we now head to lap 112 of 140 as Guerin trying to stretch the fuel to the distance. John Ross, our fastest car of the night, trying to track him down from about inside of 10 seconds now. Ross about a second quicker last time, so in theory he would only need about 10 laps to get to the back bumper of the 4 machine, which then would put us inside the 140. But how much is Guerin saving? How much more does he have in the tank? Or is Ross really pushing now and burning off that right front? By the time we get 10 more laps into this run, he's not too much, if at all, faster. Also, before we finish on up here tonight, we got to give a huge shout out to all the league sponsors that make this happen here at the 802 iRacing League. Of course, you see it in the top left of your screen. We got to give a huge shout out to Riptide Radio, doing a lot of cool stuff. I believe they still have a random 5/8 $5 iRacing credit for just showing up. You could be entered in that. So pretty cool stuff. Riptide always doing some great stuff with Riptide Radio. Be sure to check them out. Of course, we got Out of the Wood Crafts, I believe, sponsoring Rookie of the Year. So we'll keep an eye on that, as I believe that's its own points all season tally compared to, you know, the playoff version that we see for the overall champion. So we'll keep an eye on those battles. And of course, DTL Custom Graphcs always doing a great job. I believe quite a few cars out here, DTL design cars. Of course, BG Graphics, looking at the man himself, Brandon Guerin, out here leading the way. He is sponsors, of course, the pole positions, and Leaf Guard also out here coming on board this season. If you want to find out more information from the league, be sure to check them out at facebook.com/802iRacing. So now we get closer and closer to the end of the race. We now go to the 25 to go ticker, as John Ross has caught the back bumper of the 62 machine. He should be able to go by with breeze. About, like I mentioned, 15 lap newer tires than the drivers around him. So we will have to see, as Ross has cut the lead down now around Larson for second. So now with Brandon Guerin, he has a little bit of lap traffic to deal with. The 6 of Johnny Barker right there on his back bumper, but he is the only car separated the 44 with the 4. 5.5 seconds left. We will have to see how this shakes on out. We're going to try and get a lap time history counter and see what the difference of time is. Maybe not. As we will throw back up the track map here, but I want to say, looking at my numbers here in front of me, last time by, John Ross with a 32.27. Our race leader was a 33.00. So the time difference now only 3/4 of a second. So with a difference of 5 seconds, it will probably take closer to, in theory, 5 laps. So as you can kind of tell, it went from 1 second difference to 3/4 of a second difference. So the times are getting closer and closer. I think John Ross has enough time with now 21 laps to go. He's already within 4 seconds, and Guerin having to, as you can hear here, clutch, save fuel to make it to the end. And he has the 6 machine of Barker kind of keeping him honest, kind of hounding him a little bit. So I think this is John Ross's race to lose. As long as he doesn't do anything crazy, overdrive and stuff it in the fence, I think he will have enough time to get to the 4. But we will have to see with this time by coming to 20 laps to go left in race number 13 here at the Chicagoland Speedway. A little bit further back, we got a battle for position just inside the top 10. That is the 13 of Jason Wiley with the 16 lifeguard machine of Steve Ritter. Ritter down low here. A little bit newer tires than Wiley. Wiley will slide on back. Luckily, Wiley having a lot of time to the next car behind him of Nate Catola. So I believe Wiley should stay on in the top 10 and finish there. As we see now, Grivgala up to the outside of Zingen and able to get on around. And now here comes Rob Lowe in the 21 machine. He's trying to race his way back up, maybe into the top 3, but right now trying to get around and easily get around that 62 machine. Once again, like I said, the guys with old tires. The 4 of Brandon Guerin, the 62 of Frank Zegan, the 82 of Nick Larson, and it looks like the 13 of Jason Wiley. Also, the 6 of Johnny Barker, also on the old tires. So everyone else in about 10 to 15 lap newer tires. And here we go, folks. It is heating on up, the battle for the race lead. About half a second between the two of them. John Ross last time by 32.61. Our race leader 33.71. As he will drive it down here into the corner, right to the back bumper. He will look to the inside off of turn number 4. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Sadly, Brandon Guerin, I think, still in fuel saving mode. He can't really fight John Ross too much because Guerin has a bigger picture race to look at. He's got to try and make it to the end and not run out of fuel. So Guerin will slide in a second. John Ross will take over the point. This time with 15 to go, John Ross leading the point over Brandon Guerin. The 47 machine of Gravala was under fire, but now able to gap himself a little to the 21 machine of Rob Lowe. This could get interesting for our final podium spot here tonight, and the final driver talking to me at the end of this race. So a little bit to race for, let's say, here tonight before it's all said and done. And further on back, just outside of the top 5, we got a nice battle here for a few positions right here. We see the 82 and the 51 going side by side. This is the battle for 7 as Dalton Powell will power on by the outside of Nick Larson. Now trying to set his sights on that blue and black number 43 machine out in front, but having to pedal that car, you can tell that right front of the 51 not handling the best as he had to get out of it. And that allows the 82 machine of Nick Larson to get back in front of the 51. So it is Larson, Powell, and Ritter here. These 3 cars we're looking at all battling for position here in the closing stages of the Chicagoland race here tonight as we close on into 10 to go. Right now we are at 12 to go, but a long way still to go. Over 20 miles of racing left here. As once again, the 51 and the 82 go side by side. Dalton on the top side, trying to find the momentum, trying to find the grip up there to be able to get that front end to grab, get that car to turn, and then be able to put down the loud pedal a little bit sooner than the 84. Here comes Steve Ritter, trying to make it 3 wide, almost contact as the 51 has to yank it off the wall, about to not get into it, and somehow those 3 did not make contact, but now they do as the 82 of Nick Larson gets in the side of Steve Ritter. Just trying to race hard at the end of this race here with 10 to go. Everyone pushing the envelope, trying to make something happen, and everyone doing a great job of keeping those cars underneath them, as we do see 2 open palms from the flagman last time by. 10 to go, now coming to single digits to go. This time by, we have 9 laps to go. A little bit further back, we got Nate Catola and Christian Delgado battling for just outside the top 10. Delgado we saw coming down much later than everyone else, but did have that issue coming down on pit road, so that puts him just outside the top 10, up into 12th at the moment, maybe trying to get 11th if he can find a way around this 5 car. You will have the run on the top side. Now we'll have to sail on in there, get that front end to stick just on that top side, and then be able to get roll to that throttle a little bit sooner. Looks like he will be able to do just that, but we got to head up a little bit more because we have a battle inside the top 5. It's a battle for second. Brandon Guerin in that Ford Mustang trying to save fuel, but under fire from a handful of other Mustangs as the 47 machine trying to be on the move. He will take over second. Now Guerin trying to hang on to third as Rob Lowe in attack mode as well. Has almost contact there into turn 3 as Guerin and Lowe almost made contact. I don't know how that didn't get Guerin loose there and almost wrecked, but they somehow don't make contact here with 6 to go, as it looks like everyone's race pretty much set up from here. I don't think we'll see any more real craziness before it's all said and done, unless something comes out of left field. The only other real battle on the Speedway is for 8th position, that being here Nick Larson and Dolan Powell trying to throw it on down before they call it quits. As interesting, looks like maybe Nick Larson having to save some fuel or something going on, as he let the 51 very easily on by, which you don't really see within 5 to go. So Larson, one of those cars staying out from lap 91, that's trying to make the distance here. So yeah, he must be into big time fuel saving mode. Knew that it's not really his challenge. And I don't know what happened here. We're going to try and take a look, see if anything weird on my end. It shows that something happened with Leroy and Steve here, but I don't really see anything going on. So I think the spotters for me, as we see something going on there. Rob Lowe in that 3rd position there, getting a big piece of the wall off of turn number 2 there. I think he says it's the end of the race. I'm going to push, try and see if I can get to Joseph's back bumper at any means possible, but he is just pretty much burning up that right front. That car's used up. You might as well just take it easy here to the end. And I don't know if you're third, if you want to see the yellow, or if you don't want to see the yellow for the green-white checkered, because you have a good run going, can be happy about it, but you know you're not going home with a checkered flag. So it's a tough choice, but I think most of these guys just wanted to see this white flag, get this race on done. But this time by John Ross, we'll see popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go for the 44 Skull Ford Mustang. John Ross definitely being the class of the field here tonight. He has been the car to beat. As further on back, we get some 3-car racing. Looks like Christian Delgado trying to race his way into the top 10. Looks like he will be able to, even with the pit road mistake. He's able to get back up there and able to run around the 51 and the 82. So looks like he will try and hang on to it. Yeah, some great racing here, as it looks like the 82 trying to say, you know what, let's sing it, let's sail it. I don't care if I run out of fuel, it's going to be going to the end. As it looks like we do see Nick Larson on the white flag lap. That is a tough break. He is down on pit road. That is going to hurt him in the standings. But off of turn number 4, John Ross picks up another checkered flag, 3 in a row for the driver of the 44 machine. John Ross getting the job done. Off of turn number 4, it looks like Leroy able to get the spot as Frank Zegan out of fuel coming to the checkered. He will roll across, he will coast across the line up in 7th, but wow, man, some wild strategy. Brandon Guerin having enough fuel, he will finish in the top 4, but the man who has been on a hot streak for the last little bit, John Ross, picking up now 3 in a row as he'll burn it on down in the front stretch. For all the fans watching, we will have some celebrations here. Let John have his moment, and then we'll go to commercial break. On the other side of commercial break, we will talk to our top 3, so don't go anywhere, folks. We will be right back here in a second for our post-race interviews.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we come back here to the Chicagoland Speedway and dialing up our 3rd place finisher here from tonight. It is the 21 machine of Rob Lowe. Rob, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Brett, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself? We talked a little bit pre-race, try and get the rundown a little bit. You said you'd be hoping to talking to me by the end of the race. Tonight, you're doing exactly that. How was this 21 machine?
It was really good in the long runs. I really needed this race to go caution free like it has the last few weeks. Like the first 2 or 3 segments there, I would catch John and Joseph. I was fast at the end, and then we'd pit. I worked all week on race pace over a 45 lap run, and I just didn't adapt when the cautions fell where they did. And at one point, I didn't think John or I or Joseph were going to be in position to win it. I thought Brandon had the right strategy there, one stopping it after the lap 45, 46 caution. Friday night in the practice race, I too stopped it in a green to checkers, and I won by 13 seconds. So it's doable. I just wasn't comfortable trying that tonight against like John Ross and Joseph and Brandon and some of these other guys. So it was a good car. I qualified horrible. I qualified dead last, and just had to come up to the field.
Yeah, I was going to say, starting at the beginning of the night, qualifying dead last. I mean, we didn't see it live or whatever. Did something happen in qualifying, or did you just not hit the marks, let's say?
I got back in the gas a split second early down in 1 and 2, and I just ass tapped the wall coming out at 2, and it negated my lap. I had a real fast lap,
I was gonna say,
even hitting it, but yeah, I wasn't worried. I knew I could drive up through the field.
yeah, Rob, and that you did, yeah. Any sort of lap or wall contact or anything, negates the lap. So that's a bummer to hear with the qualifying. But I mentioned on stream, I recognize you from other series I've called or whatnot, and always know that you have the long run speed, even in the short track series. Let's say you're always one of the cars that seem to be moving on the long run. And once again here tonight at Chicagoland, you sticking right to your strengths and doing that exact same thing.
Yeah, it's what Johnny Barker, my teammate in Wolfpack Racing, along with Jeff Barefoot, Nick Larson, Dave Lamaga, Gene Cato, and I think I'm forgetting someone. Johnny and I practice all week, and we practice nothing but long run speed. So I'm really got to thank Johnny for working with me every week. That's what we work on.
Yeah, and that work every week definitely pays off when it comes to race time. And once again, another podium for you guys. How are you guys feeling as we get now another race closer to the start of these playoffs?
I'll be glad to get New Hampshire behind us. I despise that track. I feel good. I got some good tracks for me in the playoff. I have a couple that are not so good. Watkins Glen being one of them. But I just want to thank all the series sponsors. Riptide Radio for sponsoring the series. BG Graphics for sponsoring the Pole Award. Out of the Wood Crafts for sponsoring the Rookie of the Year. Right. Leaf Guard for sponsoring 3 times a year. They put up cash money for the Pole Award. The last race of the season, it'll be another one of those races. And last but not least, DTL Customs. Dave did all our teams, all our drivers, throwback schemes for our last race at Charlotte, I don't know, a month ago. It was the 1985 series, and everyone had a paint scheme from that series. So Dave had a lot of hours into that and does that as a sponsorship for the league. So without our sponsors, wouldn't be possible. And we're racing for $1,000 point fund at the end of the season. The first place gets $130, and 15th gets their league entry fee back. So not a lot of leagues out there pay back to 15th, and everyone in the top 15 gets either their entry fee back or they make money. So just really happy with the league.
I was going to say that's definitely awesome there, Rob. Giving back to the racers, a lot of opportunity for people to grow and earn some cash money on the side with doing something we all love to do and enjoy spending our free time with it. You did a good job thanking sponsors, Rob, but I want to give you the chance, just in case, one more time to thank anyone else tuning on in here tonight that could be cheering you on, or who are on the 21 machine that made it so fast here tonight.
Yeah, my car sponsors are GStone Motors, Ford dealership in Millbrae, Vermont, Stone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, another dealership in Millbrae, Vermont, owned by the Stone family, Gardner's Trading Post in Rutland, Vermont, and GStone Commercial Division. And last but not least, Brett, I want to thank you. Good to have you back with us. You've done a late model stock series for us, the truck series, and you did the Cup series for us back when we were Joe Sixpack Racing. And it's really good to get you back here with us on a permanent basis. And I'm really excited to have both our leagues on Turn 3 Racing Network. Of course, Roger does the Dirt Modified series on Tuesday night. So really happy with the partnership and looking forward to this lasting for a long time.
I am as well, Rob. A great way to start off the relationship tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway. Only 2 yellow flags, a lot of great racing, and some great strategy coming on. I don't think you could ask too much more. And you get a podium as well out of it. You have to be walking away with some good smiles.
Yeah, and I can't wait to watch a broadcast. There was a lot of close, crazy racing there. One restart, I went from 6 or 4 to the lead. It was just a really good race, and you can race like that in this league. We've got this down to a group of guys that can race hard and they race respectful, and I can't thank the league members enough for how respectful they race.
Yeah, it does seem like an awesome one. So, Rob, I'll keep from chatting with you. I'll let you roll through tech here. You have yourself a great rest of the night, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you some more here in the future.
Thanks, Brett. Have a good night.
All righty, you as well. That will do it for our 3rd place finisher, Rob Lowe. Now we will head over to our 2nd place finisher, that being the 47 of Joseph Grivala. Joseph, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I got you, buddy.
Alrighty, man. How you doing tonight? How'd that 47 machine feel here at the Chicagoland Speedway?
Man, it felt great. Chicagoland's not one of my best tracks, not one I look forward to, but it's tricky and it teaches you how to drive the car a little bit different. So you gotta protect the right front, especially right sides. But as the run goes on, I'm so happy for this league, and I'm glad I found it. But these long runs are my bread and butter. I'm terrible at short runs, terrible at off restarts, but the long runs are that's where I shine.
Yeah, and luckily we had a lot of those, especially in the second half of the run. But yeah, Joseph, you always seem like as the run went on, you and Rob were always reslicing it through the field, let's say, and showing your guys' strength as, hey, let's have as little cautions as we can. And tonight we had that exact situation.
Absolutely. I gotta thank Rob also for he was breathing down my neck for a good while, and then I think he got caught up with the lap car right at the end. But I'm not sure if he would have had a run there. It's pretty getting sketchy. I was staring at that relative and out the mirror for a good while. But on the flip side, following him, he taught me a thing or two, running a different line there than I was, and I think it helped me also. So it pays to kind of follow some of those fast guys also.
Yeah, it does. You can definitely learn a lot, especially from the fast guys and the guys that, have certain strengths, whether it's the short run or the long run. But yeah, you looked really good out here tonight as we close into the start of the playoffs. How are you feeling about that and looking at those, I believe, handful of races?
I'm excited. I don't know about getting in the playoffs. It's only my second race, so I don't know if they have a race limit or what have you. But I just want to run the races. They're very clean and they're, like I mentioned, they're long runs, and I love racing like this. Green flag pit stops. I haven't done green flag pit stops in so long. I kind of messed myself up last week and this week, so pretty fortunate to have a pretty good recovery. But I'm looking forward to New Hampshire and Dover. Probably some of my favorite tracks. Darlington, I love Darlington. Plate racing, not so much, but we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say always some good tracks there. Gotta love Darlington and whatnot. And yeah, Joseph, looking at your car, sponsored by I believe the BKA Karting. So I don't know if you want to take a second, tell the fans what that is, and I believe you're a champion with that as well.
Yes, sir. BKA El Paso Motorsports Kart Racing Club is the Facebook page. Look them up, give them a like. It grows the league. It's our local karting club. It's growing so much since I got back. I've been away for the past 4 years, out doing the army thing. So I just got back a month ago, and the club is so big now. That's where I got my first start. I think like maybe 6 years, 7 years ago in a real race car. Karting road racing is my background, and the club back here in El Paso is growing a lot, and I'm happy to see it. So if you guys can just hit the page, give them a like, it'll make the club grow and give exposure. I really appreciate it. But shout out to those guys as well.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. Well, Joseph, before we let you go, I want to hand over the mic to you. Enjoy this second place, but give a shout out to anyone else on this 47 machine, or maybe anyone that's tuning in at home that was cheering on you from their couch or whatnot.
Absolutely. Hey, man, I want to thank you first and foremost, Brett, for putting this on. I'm going to go watch the replay back, and it's very exciting from what little I heard under the couple cautions. But you allow us to watch it there, so thank you. Dad, of course, for supporting my racing habits, the family, wife, and the kids for also dealing with my racing habits when they could shut me down, so I got to thank them. My sister as well, big supporters. And Rob for letting me in into the racing, into the 802 league, a little bit different due to my work conditions, but he worked with me, and I really appreciate Rob for letting me in the fun here. I'm having a great time.
Alrighty, well, you done an awesome job, at least here tonight, finishing runner-up to John Ross. Always a pretty good one there. I know you probably wished one yellow flag to bunch it on up, see what you had, but one last question for you, Joseph. How bad am I butchering your last name? How do you say your last name?
So it's Grijalva. So the J is just an H sound in Spanish language. Grijalva's fine, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I wasn't butchering it that bad, so I feel a little bit better about myself. But Joseph, you have yourself a great rest of the night. I'm sure you can walk away with your head held high. Second place here tonight. Continue that momentum, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here in the future.
Absolutely. Really quick, I can't believe I forgot. Shout out to John Ross, teammate with Wildman Racing. They brought me in as well, and I'll see you guys next week. Next week.
Yep, sounds good, Joseph. You take care, and yep, we'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Alrighty, folks, and now we'll head down to Victory Lane to talk to the man of the hour. That, of course, being John Ross. John, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Brett, I have a copy.
Alrighty, man. So we got to start off with the big accomplishment tonight. You make it 3 wins in a row. I mean, how does that feel, and where is this momentum coming from, and where do you think it's going to take you to?
Well, honestly, these tracks, this type of track, really suits my driving style a little bit more patience, being able to roll the center of the turn, getting good runs off. So I think this type of track suits me a little bit better, and some strategy has worked out for us like it did tonight, and so a little bit of luck too, and then always, my teammates and even, Rob and Johnny, in the league, they post practices. So I think as long as you can get some laps in and practice practice well and go win with a game plan, you're going to be fairly successful.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game. Following, what you wanted to come out to do, but also, not letting things go to the wall if it does go sideways. Because, John, I don't know, I didn't believe it the whole way, but did you think you had enough to, let's say, run down Brandon Guerin with that alternate strategy than the most of the field?
I'm not sure if I did or not. I think so. So when we went in, we stayed out. So Joseph and I stayed out on that. I believe it was the third caution, and we didn't take tires. Actually, we went in and got fuel, and we didn't take any tires. So the goal was to kind of short pit that because we thought we were going to need to stop 2 more times anyway. So when we took off, we knew we were sitting ducks. We were able to hold on, I think, to the top 5 a little bit longer than I even thought we were. So I think we come in around lap 75 or 80. And I was thinking about it because as Brandon stayed out, and I started counting the laps down, I started counting backwards. I'm like, man, if he can make it to 46 to go, I think he can clutch it. I felt fairly confident at the end of that stage before the last stage where we were able to stay behind him about a second when he come out of the pits. When I went in the pits, I said, well, we'll have enough pace to catch him, especially if he has to, try to save fuel.
Gotcha, and that's exactly what you did. Had enough pace to catch him, especially with saving fuel, and then blow on by, and then pretty much once again had open track in front of you, was able to hit your marks. I mean, man, it was impressive to see. Did you have any tips or tricks, let's say, especially with the long run? It seemed like that car just kept getting faster and faster as those tires were supposed to be wearing on out.
Yeah. So especially here at Chicagoland, it was really on really 2 spots here on entry and in the apex. So I was really soft on entry, and I kept it in 5th gear for the majority of the runs, and I just had to be really patient on apex. You really had to feel the right side of the car grip before you started to throttle up and exit out. Because if you would go in and you would get in a little early, the car would push. So if you started to throttle up too soon, the car would push out toward the wall, and you would either have to put more wheel in it, and it would slow you down, and it would turn your lap times down, or you would go up and bump the wall. So it would really burn the right front. And then with about 15 laps to go in every stint, I started to downshift into 4th when I felt the right front really give up. That way, it gave me a little bit more turn in the apex, and I was able to really power out of the turns.
Well, John, I appreciate some insight. Always some good stuff to take down some notes, figure out what the fast guys are doing. and hopefully one day replicate it. So appreciate the extra insight there, John. And yeah, I mean, man, impressive to watch here tonight. How you feeling about next week at New Hampshire? I know that place, either people love it or hate it.
Yeah, so I'm more of the I hate it, school, but I don't feel great. I think we'll go in, and we've got some really quick guys in the league that I think on these tracks where tire wear is an extreme circumstance, I think it benefits me. But we get into some of these shorter tracks where the tire wear isn't the same, and they can really turn quick laps. I'm going to be at a bit of a disadvantage, but we'll put some laps in, and we'll see what happens. I'll get the team together, and we'll throw up a couple of practices and see what I can come up with.
Well, awesome stuff. I like how you already got a nice game plan and idea of what you need there next week at New Hampshire. But for tonight, John, we will wrap things on up here on the front stretch, let you go and celebrate with everyone else. But first, I got to hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank here down in Victory Lane here at Chicagoland.
Yeah, Brett, I appreciate it. And first, thank you, and I can't wait to go back and watch the broadcast here. So super excited to hear your broadcast. So we appreciate the time and effort, Rob, and really appreciate what he does for these leagues. And I say it every week, but these things are not easy to put together and to keep all of us attitudes in check. So he does a really good job. Want to thank him and the sponsors, Riptide Radio, DTL Customs, PG Graphics, and Leaf Guard for helping sponsor the league. We certainly appreciate that as well. And last, I just want to get a shout out to my Wildman team. Joseph coming in second, fantastic. I think this is his second race with us, and for a P2 finish, fantastic for him. And Leroy with the top 5, and Christian Delgado with an 8th place finish. So want to thank those guys too.
All righty, always having some teammates is always nice to have to fall back on, and some quick ones at that always helps even more. So John, you have yourself a great rest of the night. 3 in a row, man. Huge congrats from me here at Turn 3. We'll see if you can keep it up next week and try and make it 4 in a row after New Hampshire.
Thanks, Brett. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, folks. That will do it down in the front stretch from John Ross, picking up win number 3 in a row. And let's start wrapping things on up, getting people out of here at a decent time. And let's run through tonight's race results for the Windy 140 here at the Chicagoland Speedway. And it looks like we got to run old school with it here. So John Ross will pick up the win here tonight in the 44 Ford Mustang. Finishing second will be Joseph Gravala, rounding out the top 3. And who we talked to tonight as well is the 21 of Rob Lowe. Fourth will go to the 4-car with the strategy, able to make it up into P number 4 and finish there. That is, of course, Brandon Guerin. Fifth will be the 43 of Leroy Kolbenetz. Sixth will be the 16 of Steve Ritter. Seventh is Frank Zagan in the 62. Eighth is the 31 of Christian Delgado. Ninth is Dalton Powell in the 51. Rounding out the top 10 will be the 5 of Nick Catola. 11th will go to the 13 of Jason Wiley. 12th will be the 82 of Nick Larson. 13th is the 46 of Eli Raposa. 14th is the 6 of Johnny Barker. 15th, the 52 of Dave Farella. 16th is Ariba Canton in the 30. And rounding out the field tonight, the 94 Christopher Pandel will finish 17th. So that will do it here tonight from the Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series at Chicagoland Speedway. Be sure to tune in next Sunday. We will go to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for a distance of 140 laps. You won't miss that, folks. I have been Brett the Jet in the booth from Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to check out Turn 3 throughout the week, as we have a lot of great series, a lot of great broadcasters as we continue to grow, have some great racing. And if you need some sim racing fix throughout the week, be sure to jump in, as we got a lot of great broadcasters. Also, if you're looking to run some open setup racing, be sure to check out Premier Setup Shops with the link in the description as well. And if you want to find out more information about the 802 boys, Be sure to check them out at Facebook with 802 iRacing. I have been Brett the Jet from Turn 3 Racing Network. Everyone take care, stay safe, have a great week, and I will catch you in 1 week time. Everyone, we will see you later, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.